The 2S4 Tyulpan, also known in some references as the Tulip 8 N, has been one of the most formidable weapons systems in Russia's artillery arsenal for decades. In 2025, it's still making headline as a perhaps surprisingly for a platform that first entered service back in the late 1960s. But the reason is simple: raw firepower. The Tyulpan remains unmatched in its ability to deliver heavy, high-impact mortar fire over a significant distance, and in the modern battlefield, where drones, electronic warfare, and precision munitions dominate the conversation, the Tyulpan is proving that brute force still has a place. Let's take a deep dive into what the 2S4 Tyulpan is, why it still matters in 2025, and how this Cold War-era behemoth continues to evolve in modern warfare. The 2S4 Tyulpan is a self-propelled mortar system built around a massive 240mm breech-loading mortar. It's not just any mortar, it's the largest caliber mortar system in use by any military today. Originally developed by the Soviet Union, it was designed for siege warfare, and that's what it still does best: smashing fortifications, bunkers, and entrenched positions with extreme precision and unmatched explosive force. Mounted on a tracked chassis derived from the GMZ mine-laying vehicle, the Tyulpan is as much a tank as it is artillery. It's armored, mobile, and self-contained. That mobility is key. It allows the Tyulpan to fire and move via an essential tactic in modern artillery operations to avoid counter-battery fire. While not fast by any means, its ability to reposition after firing a few rounds keeps it alive in contested zones. What really sets the Tyulpan apart from other artillery systems isn't just the caliber of the rounds it fires, it's the variety and destructive power of its munitions. It can fire standard high-explosive rounds, yes, but also rocket-assisted projectiles, cluster munitions, and even nuclear rounds, though the latter, obviously, is more of a legacy capability than a realistic modern option. In recent years, thermobaric rounds have become a highlight in discussions about the Tyulpan's relevance. These fuel-air explosive munitions are devastating in urban environments and cave systems. They create a longer-duration blast wave that is especially lethal in confined spaces. And with conflicts like the war in Ukraine and the possibility of urban warfare becoming more prevalent, these types of rounds offer unique tactical advantages. Speaking of Ukraine, that's exactly where the Tyulpan has been spotted in action in recent years. Though originally considered a relic, the Russian military brought it back into active deployment in areas where entrenched positions needed to be neutralized. Reports indicate that several Tyulpans have been seen firing on fortified Ukrainian positions, with their explosive impact visible from miles away. The use of the Tyulpan in modern warfare has also raised questions about its survivability in a theater increasingly dominated by unmanned systems and real-time intelligence. After all, a large, slow, tracked artillery piece is a tempting target for modern loitering munitions and satellite-guided weapons. First, let's talk about modernization. In 2025, the Tyulpan is no longer just an aging piece of Cold War technology. Many of the units in active service or reserves have been upgraded with digital fire control systems. This allows for faster target acquisition, integration with drones for reconnaissance and correction, and improved accuracy. Some Tyulpans have even been retrofitted with drone countermeasure systems, recognizing the increasing threat from small UAVs. Additional armor plating, camouflage nets, and even radar-absorbing paint have also been applied in field conditions to reduce detectability. But let's be clear, the Tyulpan isn't invincible. Several have been lost to precision strikes when spotted. It's a trade-off of the incredible firepower it offers versus the risk it attracts. When deployed properly, behind cover and under the protection of electronic warfare systems or air defense, the Tyulpan becomes a true battlefield asset. As of 2025, Russia is not mass-producing new Tyulpans. Instead, it is drawing from existing stockpiles and selectively modernizing older units. There's simply no need to produce them in large numbers. Their use is specialized, and they're not frontline systems in the same way as MLRS or standard tube artillery. Think of them more like strategic tools brought in when there's a hard target to crack. And while the West doesn't field a direct equivalent, There are some parallels. Heavy artillery systems like the US M107 or M110 howitzers, long retired, once served similar roles. But today's NATO forces tend to favor precision over raw explosive volume. That's not to say one doctrine is better than the other, it's just different. Let's talk numbers for a moment. The Tulpan's 240mm mortar can fire a standard high-explosive shell weighing over 130 kilograms to a distance of up to 9 kilometers. With rocket-assisted projectiles, that range can stretch to around 20 kilometers. That's less than some modern howitzers, but the payload is far greater. Each round is manually loaded using a hydraulic crane system attached to the vehicle. This means a slower rate of firing, about 1 round per minute, under optimal conditions. But when each round can obliterate a reinforced bunker, quantity becomes less important. One often overlooked aspect is crew training. Operating a Tulpan requires a skilled team. This isn't a plug-and-play system. The mortar itself has a recoil system that helps absorb the incredible force of each shot, but the setup, targeting, and loading require experienced operators. As a result, these systems are often assigned to elite artillery units rather than conscripts. In terms of logistics, supporting the Tulpan on the battlefield isn't simple. The massive shells require dedicated transport. The vehicle itself is heavy and not particularly fuel efficient. But when deployed as part of a planned operation, these logistics are manageable. The value of the Tulpan lies not in its sustained rate of fire but in its ability to deliver 1 or 2 decisive blows. This is especially important in siege warfare, where psychological impact plays a role. Hearing and seeing a Tulpan round hit can demoralize defenders and signal that serious firepower is in play. In fact, during several documented engagements, the mere presence of a Tulpan has caused enemy forces to retreat from hardened positions. As warfare continues to evolve, there's been growing interest in integrating legacy platforms like the Tulpan with next-generation technologies. Some military analysts have floated the idea of pairing Tulpans with autonomous resupply drones or automated loading systems. These ideas are still theoretical in 2025, but they highlight how legacy platforms can remain relevant if integrated into modern operational ecosystems. Another interesting point is the Tulpan's symbolic role. For many in the Russian military and even among foreign observers, it represents the enduring principle that sometimes brute force is necessary. In a world obsessed with smart munitions and pinpoint strikes, the Tulpan is a reminder that not every battlefield problem has a surgical solution. And it's not just Russia keeping an eye on the Tulpan. Military analysts in China, India, and even NATO countries are studying its role in recent conflicts. While they may not adopt identical platforms, the principally delivering massive firepower from mobile platforms is influencing the development of next-gen siege artillery. In terms of export, the Tulpan hasn't seen widespread sales. It's simply too niche. Some units have been offered to allied states or used as leverage in military aid agreements, but its strategic value is mainly for the Russian military. There have been unconfirmed reports of units being offered to Syria or other Russian-aligned nations, but deployment outside of Russia remains rare. One area where the Tulpan has gained unexpected relevance is in military simulations and training exercises. Because of its unique capabilities, it is often included in war games that simulate urban assaults or breaching operations. It helps commanders train for scenarios where extreme firepower is needed, but escalation needs to be carefully managed. So, what does the future look like for the 2S4 Tulpan? In 2025, it's not being phased out. Instead, it's being refined, modernized, and used with greater discretion. There may never be a replacement for it, simply because its role is so specialized. It's not something you replace with a newer model. It's something you keep in reserve, bring out when needed, and retire again until the next time. It's not sexy, it's not fast, but it's undeniably powerful. In a battlefield increasingly focused on speed, precision, and stealth, the Tulpan is a throwback and a warning. Sometimes, the best way to breach a wall is still with a 240mm shell. And as long as that remains true, the 2S4 Tulpan will have a role to play. Whether it's reducing hardened bunkers, destroying cave complexes, or simply sending a message, The Tyulpan continues to make its presence felt even more than half a century after its birth. So the next time you see that unmistakable footage of a massive shockwave rolling across the battlefield, chances are it's not some futuristic weapon from a sci-fi movie. It might just be the Tyulpan alive and well in 2025. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this breakdown of military vehicles and how they still matter in the modern age, make sure to check out our other videos. Subscribe to the channel for updates on the past, present, and future